the repository itself, so that's the file structure. We have the instructions for the assignment. The easiest way I think to do this early on is go ahead and click the green code button. Open this with GitHub Desktop. GitHub Desktop opens quickly, letting me see that it's got the pre-filled exercise set 0, followed by my username as the repo. It has a pre-selected local path, which I am choosing to leave as the default, so that I always know where these repository files are. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. What GitHub's asking me here is, where do you want me to clone your files? So I'm going to go ahead and select yes, click clone them there. Clones the files. At this point, I'm ready to open and begin working on my assignment. So I'll begin going. I dive into the source directory, and I'm going to start with the very first one. It's ex00. Open with idle. I know this all looks different on a Windows machine than Mac, but they're very similar. You don't want to double click a Python file on Windows, it just runs the file as a script. Alright, we can begin working on that assignment. Now for this particular one, what I'm going to go ahead and do is complete this. I think that everybody could do that. I'm going to add an extra line at the end there. Save this. GitHub Desktop knows that I have made some changes. Deletions are in red, additions are in green. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in here that I have completed 0, 0. Commit to main, and let me go ahead and push. Once it's pushed, I'm going to go back to the repository. And here, where I want to go to actually look, it's setting up GitHub Classroom Feedback right now. Let me go ahead and look at pull requests. When you visit the pull requests tab after submitting work, you will see a feedback pull request. When you see this dot beside there that is brown, that is an in progress. Let me back up. That is an in progress run of all of the checks on your code. If we click this, it will bring you to the feedback pull request. And you might see a branch, or all checks have failed. That necessarily did not happen just now. The way that you can actually see that is to go and look at checks. And we'll look at your auto grading check. And you can see that it's still running. All right. So as we look, again, I've clicked auto grading. If this is not expanded, you want to look for the auto grading action here. There will be a test set for each of your exercises, and you can see that I've actually passed EX00. There's going to be a lot of failures after this because I haven't completed those tests yet, or those assignments yet. So these tests will all fail. I can scroll down to the bottom, and you can see in bright blue here, or cyan, whatever you want to call that, 10 out of 60 is my current score. Okay, so that's a quick view of the over. I'll do another video where I do a deep dive into this, but again, we cloned the repository, worked on code, committed changes locally, pushed them to GitHub. When those changes come in, an action is run. We'll be able to see that action running by looking at the status right here beside feedback. Now, until you get 100%, you're going to see failure auto grading here. So don't worry too much about there being an X. Failed checks are normal day-to-day business for developers. So, but clicking this feedback brings you into a communication sort of portal between you and your instructor, me, where we can go back and forth about what changes you might make and what problems you're having and help you get to that 100%. Okay, more videos coming on the pull requests. What I want to do is summarize this video by with the introduction to exercise set 0 and showing you a little bit more about the structure of each repo that you're going to get. When you dive into your repository to begin working on your assignment, the only directory that you should ever worry about is SRC. That stands for source. This is where your templates will be. You will have template code for every assignment file that you need to submit, and they're broken up into multiple files so that they're easier for you to work on. Submitting or working on one assignment does not potentially affect working on another part of the assignment. So this way, if I'm working on EX01, it's not necessarily messing with EX00's part. But again, the source directory is all we need to be concerned about. Okay? If any of the other files are changed, those changes will be tracked, and they can actually cause your tests to fail even if you have 100% on your solutions. So it is best not to disrupt any of the other structure. Again, this is common practice for developers. We tend to have, a few parts of the overall piece that we're working on. All that you all need to focus on for your assignments is the SRC or source directory. Okay, from assignment acceptance, you have to accept that invitation, visit your repository, clone with GitHub Desktop. In GitHub Desktop, we go and view the files in Finder. We edit the files in Finder. And we commit changes here, push changes here, visit GitHub Desktop, our GitHub, the GitHub website, to be able to see our pull request and feedback. All right, I'm going to go ahead and conclude that video. If you have any questions about this video, please, you can drop a comment right there on the video. You can contact me directly. Comments are great because they help other students as well.